what a long and eventful day. Time to relax with some good old... Oh, shit. Come on, where is it? Where could it be? The hell is this doing in here? God damn it.
Shut up, kid. It's way too late for this.
Where could it be? Who's there?
Someone from the dark.
Where are you?
You need not worry about where I am, but rather where you need to be.
Well, the game's in here, so I guess we can just get going, huh? Hey! How are ya? It's me. I know it's been a while, but today I'm here with a little bit of a different video for you guys. I'm here to talk to you guys about a Pokemon game that's very near and dear to my heart. And that game is actually one of the side games. Now, I know a lot of people like their Mystery Dungeon, the Pokemon Ranger, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, but there's another game that I love the most. And I feel like not enough people talk about it. That game is Pokemon Conquest. Pokemon Conquest released on the Nintendo DS on March 17, 2012. It was developed by Tecmo Koei, the company responsible for most of the Warriors games, Dynasty, Samurai, Hyrule. In Japan, it goes by the name Pokemon plus Nobunaga's Ambition. This is because the game is actually derived from a previous work of Tecmo Koei's, Nobunaga's Ambition. The original plays kinda like a Fire Emblem game. And one of the most recent games, Nobunaga's Ambition Sphere of Influence, it plays very similarly to Sid Meier's Civilization. The characters are all derived from those games, and their designs were slightly altered to fit the Pokemon Company's desires, but the way they did it was actually pretty interesting. Anyway, Pokemon Conquest is basically if Pokemon meets Fire Emblem. It's a tactical grid-based RPG centered around using your army to conquer different kingdoms throughout the Ransei region. Ransei? Ransai? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's definitely a region. It's got a pretty cool shape too. I feel like I've seen it somewhere. Rancy? You begin as the protagonist that you can choose between male and female genders. I chose the male one, then I realized that I had the only American name in the game, so eventually I replayed the game as a female that I named Nikoli. But anyway, you're the warlord of a kingdom known as Aurora. Your companion Pokemon is an Eevee, which is actually pretty rare in the Ransei region. At least according to this guy. Moving on, you're met with your, assistant? Partner? Buddy? I think she was the previous warlord, but it's never really explained. Anyway, her name is Oichi. Following that, warriors from the neighboring kingdom Ignis invade Aurora and try to take it from you. This leads to the tutorial fight and explains the basic fighting mechanics. The tutorial is short, it's everything else that seems very long. Maybe it's because I've played this game 3 times, but it feels like an eternity before you have some sort of free reign to do things. But at least the tutorial fight's easy. Jesus, Eevee, you just killed that Tepig. After that, you embark on a journey to conquer all 17 kingdoms of Ransei and stop Nobunaga from destroying Ransei using the power of the legendary Pokemon. Each kingdom is based on a different Pokemon type. Sometimes you're defeating all the Pokemon, and other times you're collecting all of the banners located through the kingdom. Every kingdom's battlefield has an interesting gimmick that can be used for or against you, which I'll get into later. Moving on, as you go through this journey through Ransei, you befriend different warlords and recruit some of them to be in your army. The game itself is pretty straightforward. You work through the elements of each kingdom and use it to your advantage to defeat your enemy. You have every opportunity to enter some of your own kingdoms to train or look for other warlords and Pokemon. Now here's where the real spoilers come in. If you're actually going to play the game, then play it and then come back here, but if you're cool with being told the end of the game, okie dokie. Eventually, you meet the warlord that's been conquering the opposite side of Ransei to get to you, Nobunaga. And while you start off with a cute little Eevee, he comes at you with a Zekrom.
What the hell?
The goal now is to unite all of Ransei and rally to stop Nobunaga from stealing the legendary Pokemon of Ransei, Arceus. You meet him in Dragnor, which is one of my favorite kingdoms because the gimmick is that there are nodes, each color representing a different attack type. It gives you an idea of where you should send your Pokemon, and it adds a great big amount of thinking into your battle. And it honestly made the final battle so much fun. Or so we thought. The true final battle is against Arceus, who descends from the sky and fights you to prove your worth to it. I know the graphics of this game are more quaint, but the visual of fighting Arceus and becoming the strongest warrior in Ransei is absolutely amazing. I felt like such a badass. When we finally gain Arceus' companionship, Nobunaga refuses to accept it, and so he decides to fight you. Again. His team consists of a lot of the other previous warlords that wanted to get their revenge on you, each of them much stronger than they were before. And like any other sane person, he summons a shiny Rayquaza. What the hell? Everyone here was kinda simple. Rayquaza was a pushover too. The fight was ultimately very quick for me, and I didn't have much issue through it. There were some moments that the Pokemon did a lot of damage, but it wasn't anything that felt too detrimental to the fight. I think I only lost one Pokemon. And you're fighting with an Arceus. After that, you become the hero of Ransei.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
Altogether, this game is so interesting. It gives you a tactical sense of gameplay, having to figure out a strategy for which kingdoms to go to and which warriors to take with you. It also has mechanics of building a better relationship with your Pokemon and building up their strength points, which is how you make them evolve instead of leveling them up. Each kingdom has small arenas where you can link with other Pokemon to befriend them, or find new warriors to join your army. My favorite kingdoms in this game have to be between Yaksha, the Dark-type kingdom, or like I said earlier, Dragnor, the Dragon-type kingdom. I love the characters that show up in those kingdoms, Kotaro, Ranmaru, and of course Nobunaga. Their designs are just amazing, and their second form designs are even better. The Pokemon they receive are just as great too. In all honesty though, all of the characters have some great designs. As I mentioned earlier, they're meant to look like their partner Pokemon, to show the bond between them, and I think that's just incredible. Such attention to detail for characters like Motonari and Motochika, representing Superior and Samurott respectively. If you're looking for a game with a lot of post-game, look no further. This game has so much to offer. You're able to play as all of the other warlords and junior warlords in their own small stories. You start with 8, but there are 33 in total. Some of them are short, but most of them are pretty hefty. And hard. The difficulty spike on these is wild. This game is not just a throwaway side game in the slightest. On top of that, each of their stories gives you a little bit of insight into them, which slowly became the reason why I love Ranmaru so much. Who is a guy? They have a whole story talking about how he keeps getting mistaken for a girl. I promise you he's a dude. Also, I might add, you can unlock a story that belongs to the protagonist, and this one gives you closure to the main story, giving you a chance to evolve your character to the 3rd level. It's part 2, if you will. I thought this story was so cool to see because it felt like all the years I spent playing this game were finally put to rest because I got this true ending of sorts. I loved it. And the difficulty is no joke. It really puts your skills of this game to the test. And on top of that, since the game carries over everyone's Pokemon and skills, it feels quite literally like a sequel of sorts to the main story. One of the only gripes I have with this game is the damage ratio on the gimmicks in the kingdoms. I think it's a little weird when one of the gimmicks in the world can be the reason between whether you win or lose. Like, don't get me wrong, some of them are really interesting, but if you're in a kingdom like Violite, and you just keep abusing the electric current button, it's sure to work in your favor sometimes, but most of the time it doesn't. Especially if everyone in that kingdom is immune to the current. And also, in some of the kingdoms, you can be in the middle of a fight, and then all of a sudden, you get stuck in a trap. It throws off the entire plan. Honestly, really annoying after a while. Another thing is, when you conquer more than half of Ransei, or in some post-game stories more than half of the area you're asked to conquer, other kingdoms power up and start to move into your territory. And if you don't have warriors there, you automatically lose it. And if you do, you're required to fight with those warriors regardless of their strength. There was once a time where I was required to go back and forth between two kingdoms just because I didn't have anyone strong enough to take over in the other kingdom. The mechanic is kind of annoying. Manageable, understandable, but still annoying. And finally, the link mechanic. Oh boy, the link mechanic. When you have the ability to link with specific Pokemon, a marker will hover over their head. Gold, silver, bronze, sometimes no metal, which just means you can link with them. It's just going to be real hard to do it. And some Pokemon will just have a medal with an X through it, meaning you just can't link with them. But above all else, this mechanic is kinda useless. Like I said earlier, Warlords have the ability to evolve, just like their Pokemon. They get a new design and new warrior ability to use in battle. And in order to do this, they need to develop a bond with a specific Pokemon. If you have a warrior that can't transform, there's not really a point in having them link with another Pokemon, unless you dreadfully want another one. And if they can transform, you're pretty much just stuck with finding the exact Pokemon they need to do that. It's all very tedious and feels almost unnecessary. Not to mention how hard the mechanic is to do on a computer. You will never hear me talk about a game and not mention the music. And it is god status, I tell you. For a MIDI DS game, this soundtrack perfectly encapsulates the feeling of fighting in feudal Japan. They use different instruments played in traditional Asian music, and the style just adds that authenticity to the game in a way that makes you feel like there's urgency in every fight. The music was composed by Shinichiro Nakamura, whose previous works include a lot of the Dynasty Warriors games, the Attack on Titan game, the previous Nobunaga's Ambitions games, and many more. Throughout this video, I've played a plethora of the tracks from the game that I love, and there are so many more where that came from. My favorite kingdom themes probably have to be the themes from Dragnor, Aurora, and Avia. And for some reason, the first dungeon theme, also known as the farm theme, always feels emotional when I listen to it, and I don't know why. All I can say is they had absolutely no reason to go this hard with the soundtrack. The most important thing is that when I'm fighting a very long battle, the music doesn't get stale at all. I always enjoy hearing it when it loops, and sometimes I start humming along. It's so good, I downloaded it. Well, unofficially. Don't tell the Pokemon Company. Above all the nitpicky issues I have with this game, the good outweighs the bad by a lot. This game holds a very special place in my heart, and for that I highly recommend it to Pokemon fans, fans of the gameplay of Fire Emblem as well. Amazing characters, cool story, and for me, so much nostalgia. A few tedious things here and there, but it never ruins the experience of the game. I find myself coming back to this game time and time again, even today, and it never gets old. There's just so much to do. If it's possible, please get your hands on this game as soon as you can. I tried to make this video as unbiased as possible, but I do think a little bit of my personal love seeped in here and there. And I hope that in the future, if videos like this are desired, I can develop a more in-depth explanation of a game and fully cast aside my personal feelings for it. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed my first discussion and review video. Please let me know what you guys thought. I appreciate any and all feedback because I would love to do more videos like these. Thank you all so much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Will it be a month? Will it be a year? Will it be tomorrow? The world may never know. Bye-bye. The truth will be revealed to you soon enough. Ha 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 ha.